The Catcher in the Rye. Author, Holden Caulfield. The Catcher in the Rye is narrated by Holden Caulfield, a teenager who has been expelled from several prep schools. The story begins with Holden at Pencey Prep, where he feels disconnected and critical of the people around him. After a fight with his roommate, Stradlater, over a girl named Jane Gallagher, Holden decides to leave Pencey early and head to New York City. In New York, Holden stays at various hotels and interacts with different people, including nuns, tourists, and former classmates. He tries to connect with old friends like Sally Hayes and Carl Luce, but these encounters often end in frustration and disappointment. Holden's loneliness and depression deepen as he wanders the city, visiting places like the Museum of Natural History and Central Park. One of the most significant parts of the novel is Holden's relationship with his younger sister, Phoebe. He sneaks into his parents' apartment to see her, and she is one of the few people who truly understands him. Phoebe's innocence and genuine concern for Holden provide a stark contrast to the phoniness he perceives in the adult world. Holden's mental state continues to deteriorate, and he becomes increasingly erratic. He fantasizes about escaping to a secluded cabin and living a simple life. However, his plans are thwarted when Phoebe insists on coming with him. Realizing he cannot take her away from her life, Holden decides to stay. The novel ends with Holden in a mental institution, reflecting on his experiences. He expresses a desire to protect the innocence of children, symbolized by his fantasy of being the catcher in the rye, standing in a field of rye and catching children before they fall off a cliff. Characters: Holden Caulfield, the protagonist and narrator of the novel. Holden is a complex character, struggling with depression, loneliness, and a deep sense of alienation. He is critical of the adult world and longs to protect the innocence of children. Phoebe Caulfield, Holden's younger sister, who represents innocence and genuine affection. She is one of the few people Holden feels connected to. Mr. Spencer, Holden's history teacher at Pencey Prep, who tries to offer him advice and guidance. Stradlater, Holden's roommate at Pencey Prep, whose behavior and attitude irritate Holden. Jane Gallagher, a girl Holden has feelings for and who represents a time of innocence in his life. Sally Hayes, an ex-girlfriend of Holden's, with whom he has a disastrous date in New York. Carl Luce, a former classmate who meets Holden for drinks and offers him advice on growing up. Themes: alienation and isolation. Holden feels disconnected from the world around him and struggles to form meaningful relationships. His sense of alienation is a central theme of the novel. Heresy: Sixth Circle heretics are trapped in fiery tombs, eternally burned for their false beliefs. Among them is Farinata, a proud noble who converses with Dante. Violence: Seventh Circle. The Seventh Circle is divided into 3 rings: violence against others, oneself, suicide, and God, blasphemy. The violent are submerged in rivers of boiling blood, turned into trees, or subjected to fiery rain. Fraud: Eighth Circle. This circle is subdivided into 10 trenches, each containing different kinds of fraudsters, seducers, flatterers, hypocrites, thieves, and others. Punishments are grotesque and ironic, tailored to the deceit practiced in life. Treachery: Ninth Circle. The lowest circle is reserved for the most egregious sinners, traitors. Frozen in a lake of ice, these souls are trapped farthest from God's warmth and light. At the very center of hell, Dante encounters Satan, a gigantic figure who chews on Judas, Brutus, and Cassius, betrayers of Jesus and Julius Caesar. Satan is trapped in ice, representing the coldness of ultimate betrayal. After witnessing the horrors of hell, Dante and Virgil climb down Satan's body and emerge on the other side of the world, leading to Purgatory. Purgatorio, the Mountain of Purgatory. In Purgatorio, Dante and Virgil begin their ascent of the Mountain of Purgatory, which is divided into 7 terraces, each corresponding to one of the 7 deadly sins: pride, envy, wrath, sloth, avarice, gluttony, and lust. The souls in Purgatory are not eternally damned, but they must purify themselves through suffering to be worthy of entering heaven. Each terrace is focused on cleansing a particular sin, and the souls willingly endure their punishments, recognizing their need for spiritual purification. Pride: the proud carry heavy stones on their backs to humble them. Envy: the envious have their eyes sewn shut and wear rough garments, preventing them from seeing others. Wrath: the wrathful are enveloped in thick smoke that blinds them, symbolizing the blindness caused by anger. Sloth: the slothful must run continuously, spurred on by their need for penance. Avarice and prodigality: the avaricious and prodigal lie face down on the ground, symbolizing their fixation on earthly wealth. Gluttony: the gluttons endure hunger and thirst in the presence of bountiful food they cannot touch. Lust: the lustful are cleansed by walking through fire, symbolizing purification through spiritual passion. The souls in purgatory constantly look forward to redemption, unlike those in hell who are trapped in eternal torment. At the summit of the mountain lies the earthly paradise, where Dante encounters Beatrice, the embodiment of divine love. Beatrice scolds Dante for his past sins but leads him into the heavens.